Class of 2008, I love you guys. You're a fine group of organisms. But I have to be completely honest with you. It took me the better part of a year to be able to really positively assure myself that you're not all on drugs. And I don't mean reefer, which would be bad enough. I mean powerful, experimental government stuff that makes people walk off of tall buildings. Now, what would have led me to believe that you're all desperately addicted to drugs? It's simple, because of the insane things that come out of your mouth. At least that would provide me with a reasonable explanation for some of the things that you say, as I've discovered that most of you take a weird, twisted pride in being able to say the most inappropriate things at the most inappropriate times, things that most people would feel deeply ashamed of for years for having even thought of. Parents, I know you love your kids very, very much, and you should. They're all very, very fine people. But I have to tell you, I've heard some of your kids say things that if you heard them, would make you briefly contemplate never speaking to them again. This is a fact. Class of 2008, I have scolded you, I've punished you, I've made you put your heads on the wall for the obscene, vulgar things that you say. And sometimes that day I've even gone home disturbed and frustrated. And then usually I cope with my frustration by calling my friends, telling them the things that you've said, and we laugh and we laugh. I'm not proud of this, but it's the truth. Indeed, class of 2008, you have a sense of humor that would disgust the most degenerate, cynical miscreant. But you are, nevertheless, a collection of extremely capable specimens. You're young, strong, robust, tenacious, and cunning. And in the future, utilizing these qualities, you will destroy your enemies and crush anyone who stands in your way. When confronted with your extraordinary might, any potential foes of yours will grovel, cowering and pitiful at your feet, begging you for an act of human mercy, which you will not grant them. You will sneer contemptuously at them, unblinking, and your peals of joyless, victorious laughter will resound throughout the heavens and terrify them to their very core. Now, yes, it's true that most of you can barely manage to remember to complete your assignments when they're due, or even show up to class on time. But I am immensely confident that in the event that there's a catastrophic nuclear war, each and every one of you will survive, even if we, your elders, may not. And you will be able to prolong the survival of our glorious species, even if only for a decade or two. Yes, this would be a tremendously difficult time for you, and most of you would be forced to fend off half-mutant hypercephalic cannibals and other ferocious, merciless predators, like space aliens, who may seek to take advantage of the weakened state of our planet. I am also fairly confident that most of you by this time will have developed the ability to regenerate your limbs and digits, like a lizard is able to regenerate its tail, and will spend most of your hours burrowing underground like gophers. But by the time the nuclear termination stage begins, Your offspring will have become super evolved, and they will have grown to be 15-foot tall giants. They will be able to fly without the aid of mechanical contraptions. They'll walk on their hands for miles at a stretch, and ultimately they will win the war against the space aliens. Now, originally I had intended to conclude my speech by shooting laser beams out of my eyes and then ascending into outer space, leaving all of you open-mouthed in astonishment. But unfortunately, the laws of nature simply would not permit such a thing to happen. And this angers me greatly. So instead, I'll leave you with these words. I'd like to thank all of you who have given me food and other free stuff. I'd like also to point out that just because you're graduating and will not be attending school at College Park any longer, that does not mean that you shouldn't keep giving me things for free, including money. Believe me, people just do that on a regular basis for no other reason than fundamental human kindness. Particularly, people are very apt to give me money for free, and that includes total strangers. Congratulations, and thank you for making these last 2 years probably the best and most rewarding years of my life.
Thank you, Mr. Cosca. You